all those seeking vibrant health. It's Dr. Rachel Northern here, and it's on my weekly tips. Tonight I have a special guest, Donna Adams, who is a wealth manager, specialist. I've been doing several talks over the last couple of years with her about health and wealth talks, and so she's going to give some tips about financial health. I'm all about health. And the better you take care of your body, the longer you live. So you want to make sure you have that money for that. So I'm going to give the camera over to her, and it's all yours now, Miss Donna.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Rachel, for having me on board. When Rachel asked me to talk about health and wealth and finances, there's so many topics I can talk about, but I thought I'd kind of narrow it down to 5 easy ones, but most people overlook them. If you aren't financially healthy, you're up at night worrying about what you're doing, you've got anxiety, stress, and it's not healthy for you. So the best thing to do is to try to get control of your finances, and to get started, it's pretty easy. So there's really 4 phases of saving. Usually you start when you're in your 20s, and then you also have some savings that's going on when you're 30 and 40. And then 50 and 60, and then retirement. Well, when you're in your 20s, you're just trying to find yourself, you're out of college, you're trying to understand what you're doing, where you're going, what job you're going to have. So you're not looking to really invest or start saving for anything at that point in time. But then when you hit your 30s and 40s, you're pretty well set in what you want to do with your life, what you want to be, who you want to be. You want a family, a house, vacation, whatever. So those are your biggest income producing years. So that's when you really need to start really seriously starting to look at what you're doing with your finances. And then the 50 to 60 range, you really are nearing retirement. You've got to readjust things that you've been doing. And then when you're in retirement, you want to make sure that you've done it all right, so you've got enough money to last you a lifetime in retirement. As Rachel said, we're staying healthier, so we're living longer, so you're putting a lot of pressure on that money to be able to last a lifetime for you. So 5 easy tips to get you started. You've got to do the math, and the first thing you need to start out with is your net worth. You need to figure out what your net worth is. Real simple equation. You take all of your assets, and then you subtract what you owe, your liabilities, and you come up with a number, and that's your net worth. And it's really great to figure that out at first, but you need to look at it at least annually, so that you can see if you're getting better or worse. Are your assets increasing or decreasing? Obviously you want them to increase, so that's a really good starting point, is to figure out what your net worth is. And then the second thing is to make sure you prepare a budget. Most people say, I don't need a budget, I know I've got enough money to pay my bills and I'm good. But sometimes if you don't have a budget, you're spending more than you're taking in, and that can be a problem as you move forward. Because maybe this week you didn't go out for dinner, so next week you have enough money to pay your car insurance bill. So if you've got a budget, you'll know exactly what you've got coming in, and then you can understand whether you're taking in enough money to cover your bills. And in reality, what you want to happen there is that you've taken in enough money not only to cover your bills, but to put some away for saving. Then the third thing is recognize and manage what I call lifestyle inflation. Now, I don't know if you've heard of this before, but you've always heard the saying that the more you make, the more you spend. Well, that's what I call lifestyle inflation, because as you're making more money, you get a raise and things like that, you might take it a vacation, or you might buy a nicer car. And so you're spending instead of saving, and that's not healthy. You need to save to start preparing yourself for retirement. You've always heard people say, keep up with the Joneses, and you might have a friend or a neighbor that buys a new car all the time and goes on vacations all the time and lives in an extravagant house and just really enjoys life. But what you probably don't realize is they're probably living paycheck to paycheck. And so you don't want to follow what the Joneses are doing. You want to make sure that you're set up and okay and able to live comfortably on the money you're bringing in, and to be able to tuck some away. The next thing is to start saving early. Okay, so what do I mean by that? You've heard the saying that people it's never too late to start saving for retirement. Well, actually, it kind of is, because if you wait till the end, you've really got to stack some money away to be able to live comfortably in retirement. And there's this what they call the 4% rule: don't take out more than 4% of your retirement income. So the goal is to try to get $1 million saved up. And even at that, at $1 million, if you've got the 4% rule, you're only allowed to take $40,000 out a year to live on in retirement, which is not a lot of money in today's world. So let me just give you a little bit of some statistics here. If you wanted to save $1 million based on a 5% lineal rate of return, you were 20 years old, you would have to put away $655.30 a month. And that would turn into a total of $314,544 over 40 years, because you have 40 years to retirement. And that would help you get to being a millionaire at age 60. But if you waited to your age 40 to start that, you would have to put away $2,432.89 a month, for a total of $583,894. And that would be over the 20-year period to become a millionaire by the age of 60. And if you wait till you're 50 years old to start putting this away, you'd have to come up with $6,439.88 a month, for a total of $772,786 to become a millionaire, because you only have 10 years to do it. So is it a little easier to save $655 versus $6,440 a month? So do the math, try to figure out what you can save. The other important thing is recognize your needs versus wants. It's really easy to say, I need a new car because my car currently isn't running. I have to get to work, I have to get the kids to school, soccer practice, whatever. So that truly is a need, but don't turn that need into a want and buy a Mercedes-Benz when you can get a Ford Escape, because that is the want. That's not the need. And so you're spending extravagantly instead of stocking that money away for retirement. And then the other thing that I would want to say is to make sure you build and maintain an emergency fund, because you never know when you're going to need a roof on your house, or you've been laid off from work and you don't have any income coming in. So make sure you've got an emergency fund. They say typically you should save 3 to 6 months of income for emergency funds. But in today's world, in today's society, in today's environment and economy, you need to save 6 to 9 months worth of income to be able to survive for at least 9 months if something should happen to you or your job, or you have an emergency coming up. So I guess the takeaways from today would be some really easy tips. Spend less than you earn. Stick to a budget. Pay off credit card debt. That's huge, because the interest rates are pretty stiff on some of those credit cards. So get rid of that credit card debt. Always try to pay off the least amount first and work up to the highest amount. So if you've got one that only has $500 on it, start paying that one off before you pay off the one with $5,000 on it. And then move that money, because you have to make the minimum payments on all of them. So if you're making a $25 on the $500 minimum payment, when you're done paying for it, your $5,000 minimum payment was $100. Pay the $125. Get rid of that credit card cost. Make sure you have a savings plan, i.e. your budget. Figure out how much you're going to budget and save on a monthly basis. And then invest that money that's left over, so that you're taking it away and you're not leaving it in a savings account and spending it because you can. Understand how your investments work. A lot of people put an investment together and I ask them, do you understand how that works? And they'll be like, no. Even something as simple as their 401k, they don't understand how that works. So make sure that you understand how your investments work. Another thing is review your insurance, your auto insurance, your house insurance, your life insurance. It's really important to, especially on your auto and your house, get new quotes every year. Don't let that premium just keep creeping up on you. Go out there and get some new quotes and see if you can do better. And then if you can do better, sock that money away for retirement. Update your will, that's really important. I've seen it way too many times where people pass away and don't have their will updated, and it's not pretty. So update your will whenever there's a life change, like you get married or divorced or have a child, or one of your beneficiaries passes away. Make sure you update that will at least every 5 years. Look at it, even though there hasn't been any life changes in your life. Make sure it's still the way you want it to be. And then keep good records. That's really important because your records are important for tax purposes. If you can't prove how you spent that money when it comes to tax time, you're probably going to be paying too much money in taxes, so keep good records. And always, always, always get some financial advice. That's really important because the financial advisor is the expert in this arena, and you probably are very busy doing other things in your life, work, managing a family, doing whatever sports you like to be involved in, and you're not going to focus 100% on the financial end of your plan. So make sure you work with a financial advisor to help you out and keep you guided and on track. And that's all I have, so I hope you learned something today, and it was nice having me tonight. Thank you, Rachel.
Okay, and so if people want to get a hold of you, and first off, is there, like, can they have a consultation? Do you charge for consultations if anybody is interested in trying to figure out their finances and all that?
Not at all. If they come in and want a financial consultation just to see what's going on, I'm more than happy to help them out.
Okay. How can they reach you then?
They can contact me at paradisefinancial.biz is my website, and my email address is donna.adams@oasecurities.com. And also you can find me on Facebook at Paradise Financial Partners.
All right. Thank you so much, Donna.